I'm Debbie, and I'm 13. I want to tell you how, recently, I was missing my friends so badly that I made up a story about myself which was supposed to make them pay attention to me again, but I should have had a plan B. First of all, until recently, I had a gang, so to speak, which consisted of me and my best friends, Sophie and Leo. We've been friends since kindergarten, and I thought we'd be together for our whole lives. But at the beginning of this year, the two of them suddenly realized that they love each other more than friends usually love each other, and decided to try dating. And guess what? They're happy together, while I find myself feeling like a third wheel. Of course, I knew that they wanted to have some time alone, just for the two of them. I just kept wondering why they wanted to be together all the time. I mean, without me. And one day, I realized that I felt really lonely, and I definitely didn't want to feel that way. It happened when I, as usual, was waiting for Sophie and Leo to drop by my place to have a pizza and movie night. I got everything prepared and was sitting in anticipation when I received a text from Sophie, where she said that she and Leo were very sorry, but they had forgotten to tell me that they were having their first big anniversary, 1 month together, and so they were not coming. This really pissed me off. Not only was it unfair to abandon me just like that, I thought, but sending a text instead of at least calling on the phone was pretty outrageous. Of course, I sulked around the room in indignation, but anyway, there was nothing to do but to sit down, watch a movie, and eat pizza in splendid isolation. To be honest, I think this was the first time in my life that I had to spend a Friday night without my friends, and I had a strange feeling inside me. From time to time, my younger brother Jonathan would stick his nose into my room, commenting on the whole situation. To sum things up, his main thought was that I was such a loser that even my friends had fallen in love with each other, and now I didn't even have anyone to watch a movie with. And when he noticed that I ate the whole pepperoni pizza all alone, he swore that my destiny from that moment on would be to turn into a fat, lonely spinster since nobody actually loved me. Of course, I yelled at him to make him leave me alone, but I couldn't stop thinking about his words. What if Sophie and Leo were truly going to forget about me for the rest of my life, and that the beginning of their love actually meant the end of our friendship? I looked at the screen where the movie was still going. One of the main characters has just found out that his soulmate was going to die from cancer, and he was making a big fuss over her. And right away, it hit me. What if I also had only a few months left to live? Would my friends still ignore me? I couldn't stop thinking about this over and over again, and by the morning, I had already come up with a perfect plan that was going to make Sophie and Leo want to hang out with me again. Even though they weren't hanging out with me, I knew that they were still good friends and still cared about me. We had decided to meet at the mall. When I saw them, Leo, as always, was looking at Sophie as if she was the most beautiful creature on the planet. They didn't even notice me right away when I walked up, which allowed me to make sure that my plan was definitely not in vain. And when I told them that we had something really serious to discuss, I told them that I had been suffering from liver cancer for a while, and that I wanted to tell them everything a long time ago. But they began dating, and I didn't want to ruin that magic for them. Oh, you should have been there to see the look on their faces. Leo looked really devastated, and Sophie was about to cry. And I was triumphing deep inside, although I desperately tried to keep my drama face. For a second, I imagined that I was literally suffering from a severe disease and was about to die soon, and that made me feel so sorry for myself that even my own eyes watered up from tears. I mean, I think I should consider a career in the cinema or something. Then they started asking different questions about my health condition, about the treatment I was going through, and the medical prognosis. You can be sure I had seriously prepared for my little lie, having read a bunch of stuff on different internet forums. I even managed to learn the names of some medicine and possible side effects of taking them, so I sounded, pretty much credible. In the end, when we were about to go home, I made them promise to not tell a soul about my illness. I even made them swear that they'd be pretending to not know anything, especially in front of my parents to, avoid making them feel even sadder about the situation than they already were. Of course, I couldn't let Sophie and Leo come over to my house one day and say to my parents how sorry they were that I was so sick. Ever since then, things had gone back to the way they were, if not even better. I totally enjoy the extra attention from my friends, whether it was a "How are you feeling?" text, or a "What are you up to today?" call. Sophie, being a bit smarter than I was, would do my homework from time to time, and I didn't even have to ask her. By the way, she did it on her own free will. And Leo would bring over lots of tasty stuff to treat all of us. Things were going awesomely until my stupid brother decided to play a prank on me and ruin everything as usual. While I was sleeping, this jerk snuck into my room, bringing our littlest sister's bunching balls with him. He thought it'd be funny to put them in my hair and get them stuck in there so that I'd miss my bus in the morning and have to walk all the way to school. Well, in the morning, when I found out that I couldn't get those stupid little things out of my hair, can you imagine that I had to cut them out? When I was finished, I had literally cut it really short to get rid of them. Oh, I don't think I've ever been more mad at anyone in my life. Just try to guess what happened next. When I appeared at school with a brand new haircut, yep, taking into account my illness, Sophie and Leo immediately decided that I cut my hair because I began losing it badly after chemo. And I wasn't ready to argue them out of their suspicions yet. Then somebody decided to laugh at me because of my haircut, and Sophie zealously rushed to defend me, saying that if only they knew about me struggling with cancer. It was right then that I felt I was the ultimate center of attention for the first time in my life. It was like having a birthday that lasted for a couple of weeks. For a couple of days, I really enjoyed the attention of my classmates and teachers. Everybody asked how I was doing, and teachers allowed me to skip classes whenever I wanted, or rather, whenever I was not prepared with homework and said that I had needed to go to the hospital. But one day, I found out that Miss Charity, my math teacher, had also experienced fighting cancer. She happened to beat it, and that day, she decided to be supportive of me and my family, and this basically ruined my life. It was a Friday night when she appeared on our doorstep. Imagine how surprised my parents were when she said that she'd come to talk about her experience and reassure all of us that I was going to make it, and that I'd be able to live my life to the fullest. And everything. I literally didn't know where to put myself when this talk was going on. And when I saw the complete bewilderment on my parents' face, I was ready to turn bright red with shame. This was the moment when the truth about me came out. Afterward, I had the most serious talk with my parents and the hardest punishment for telling all these lies. Of course, I got the most severe punishment my parents could come up with. They took my cell away for the whole month, left me completely without internet, and on top of everything, they made me clean every single room in the house on my own, including Jonathan's bedroom. Oh, by the way, this little monster was running around and around the house like a wild animal, and it seemed like he had never been that happy before. He just made a total mess in his bedroom twice a day, not only throwing his stuff everywhere, but also managing to leave leftovers here and there, so that in a couple of days it began smelling bad. Ew! It was disgusting! And guess who had to deal with it? And on Monday, Miss Charity forced me to reveal my secret in front of the whole school. Just so you know, public speaking has always been a nightmare for me. And now, I not only had to stand there and have everybody look at me, but I had to confess to something totally outrageous. I thought I was going to faint or something. I've never been so embarrassed. But even this was not the worst part of everything. Sophie and Leo literally stopped socializing with me. Anytime I saw them after my public execution, I'd find them looking at me full of scorn and hatred. They didn't want to listen to any of my explanations. And if I'm being frank, it was only then that I understood how silly I was by trying out this stupid plan. Anyway, I sent the two of them an apology letter where I tried to tell them about my feelings and the reason why I did it. And the reason I did what I did. It's been a whole week since they received it, but there's still no answer from them. I'll be hoping that they finally forgive me. Now I'm ready to do anything to keep being friends with the both of them,